beautiful people. It's Wonderful Wednesday. I'm April Roll, your ER doctor online, and today is February 22nd, and it is Heart Valve Disease Awareness Day. So in this video, I am going to be talking to you about the risks, symptoms, detection, and treatment of heart valve disease. So before I start with any of that, I want to just go over a basic overview of the heart and how it works, blood flow, and things like that, real quick. So if you didn't know already, the heart has 4 chambers, 2 on the right and 2 on the left. Okay, so what happens is blood enters the heart through the right atrium, and it has to go through a valve to get to the right ventricle. Then it has to go through a valve to get to the lungs, and then when the lungs pick up oxygen and bring it back to the heart into the left atrium, it has to go through a valve to get to the left ventricle, and then it has to go through another valve to eventually leave the left ventricle and send blood to the rest of the body. So now that we have a good working idea of how the heart structure is and that there are 4 valves in the heart that help with the flow, you can better understand heart disease and the symptoms and everything going forward that I'm going to talk about in this video. So normally and ideally, the direction of blood flow continues forward in one direction. So if you have issues with the valve, that's where you get into the problems, and that's what this video is about. So in terms of risk factors, there are many. One of them is old age. That's not something that you can prevent. If you are alive, you're going to get old, and it's just the wear and tear over time as the valves work constantly day by day. There's going to be some wear and tear. There may be some calcium buildup, and that'll lead to heart valve disease. Other things include congenital abnormalities, and congenital means that the condition is from birth. So the person was born that way, and there are congenital conditions that are associated with valve, either deformities or incomplete formation of the valve, and that leads to heart valve disease. Other things include infections. So some infections that have bacteria like strep and staph can end up infecting the actual valve tissue and causing problems. Other things like treatments, radiation, and chemotherapy also can have effects on the valves. So those are many different causes. Also other conditions, connective tissue disorders, because the valves are made of connective tissue, can contribute to the valve not being as strong, or in some type of way insufficient, or have some type of malformation. So with the valves and the risk factors, I want to just then go into the symptoms. I also mentioned these symptoms in my video from last week. I'll link it up here about heart failure, because heart valve disease is a cause that contributes to heart failure. So symptoms, these are all from issues with blood flow. When you have problems with the valves, they're either gonna be stiff, or they're going to be loose, or they're going to be deformed. What happens when that happens? Either it's too hard for the blood to get through to the next chamber or the next stop on his journey, or they're leaky, or they're not closing fully, and they're causing some backflow of blood, and it's going to lead to these type of symptoms, which include feeling lightheaded or dizzy, or feeling fatigued because you're not getting all of that blood going where it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, how it's supposed to. You can feel short of breath. Again, same cause. You can start having swelling in your legs. Again, same cause. The blood is not going forward and you're getting backing up of the system, pulling into the lungs, pulling into the legs. You can feel fatigue, drain. You can't really be as active as you were because, again, you don't have the capacity secondary to the heart valve disease from what I explained about how it's supposed to work in terms of the blood flowing through the heart. So those are some of the symptoms for heart valve disease. Now, in order to detect heart valve disease, you can get something called an echocardiogram, and that is a specialized ultrasound that visually looks at the valves and is able to see the overall function of the heart. Now, with the heart and the blood flow, like I've talked about and things related to this, that made me think there's another symptom that I left out. You can have palpitations, irregular heartbeat, and things like this that are brought on from valve disease. So back to what I was saying about detection, in terms of overall heart function and structure, in addition to the echocardiogram, there are other tests like EKGs, chest x-rays, cardiac casts, cardiac MRIs that can both visualize the heart and also look at the function and see the the electricity of the heart and put together a comprehensive view of what is going on with the heart and identify heart valve disease. So moving on to treatment for heart valve disease, sometimes if it is early, there are things that you can do medication wise, and while medications cannot physically fix the valve itself, there are things such as, like, if you have an irregular heartbeat, you can be on medications for that. If you're overloading the heart, like your blood pressure is high, or you have stenosis, or like I said, leaky valve, there are medications that can decrease the workload so that the heart doesn't have so much force or so much of a load. Okay, it has a lesser load to carry. Basically, there are medications that can help it with that, and also medications that can prevent and or delay certain complications that are a direct cause of having heart valve disease. Another thing, before I get to specific treatments of the heart valve itself, diet and exercise. I'm always going to talk about diet and exercise, and it's not just because I like to just harp on diet and exercise. Nutrition and activity are taken for granted, and having better nutrition and being active definitely decrease heart disease. It decreases the workload on the heart. It has, it makes for the heart and body to work more efficiently, which puts less stress on the valves. So in turn, everything is all linked together. Now, back to specifics. For valve disease treatment itself, the valve, you can either have repair or you can have replacement of the valve. That is very common, and in doing this, again, you're allowing for better function of the heart, because like I mentioned in the video from last week, I may post it up here again, about heart failure. Heart valve disease is also a cause of heart failure. If you completely ignore it and let it go crazy, get to the end stage, you are going to be stressing your heart out, and you are going to end up getting heart failure from the heart valve disease. So treatment is very important. So again, in this video, I talked to you about the risks, about the symptoms, about detecting heart valve disease, and about the treatments for heart valve disease. So I hope that in this video you did learn something. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you learned something, share this video with a friend, a family member, a loved one. Heart valve disease is so common. You know, there are 11 million people living with heart disease, but after a poll, 3 out of 4 people don't even know what heart valve disease is. So I want you guys to share this video with people who are unaware, you know, because they may be having some symptoms of heart valve disease and they can get that checked out with their doctor. So if you have any questions about heart valve disease, put that in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions about future Wonderful Wednesdays videos, you can also put those in the comment section below. But again, thank you for sharing this wonderful Wednesday with me. Be blessed and stay healthy.